Okay, let's go.
Hey friends of the Coachella Valley, Jose here from the New Mindset. And so today we're in a different setting. We're in a things more often than not happen out of our control. And I'm glad they do, because then we get to sit down and talk with people like Laurie here. And I can't say too many amazing things about it. There's so much to say about it. You have quite a successful career thus far. Mm-hmm. And what you do truly helps people at a whole nother level that I myself don't even understand. But please introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Well, thank you so much, Jose. That was really a nice introduction, and I appreciate that. And yeah, I call myself an intuitive life coach and energy guide. And what does that mean, right? What's an intuitive life coach or an energy guide, right? Well, what that is I have been taught, and I learned it at a very young age, that I feel other people's feelings, and that's called an empath. Okay,
that's awesome.
So yeah.
And then Laurie, what's your last name, Laurie?
Oh, it's Laurie Halverson.
Halverson.
Yes.
I thought it was Halverson, and I'm like, I know there's an actor with that name.
Yeah.
So Laurie, let's take you back to the past a little bit.
Okay.
And so my first question to you is, are you from the Coachella Valley originally?
No, but I did live in San Fernando Valley.
Okay.
From the ages of 3 to 10.
And so where did you grow up? Where were you? What was you growing up in?
I think of those as my formative years.
Okay.
In San Fernando Valley and Northridge specifically. And we used to drive regularly to Phoenix, where my grandparents lived. So I was going through the desert and the Coachella Valley.
Time, you were driving through it all the time.
Yes, seeing it from, the rooftop of our camper. Because my dad, they would pack us up, and 4 kids would fall asleep in the camper, and they would drive us to Phoenix, and we'd spend a holiday or weekends with my grandparents, and then we'd come back. And so we had motorcycles and mini bikes. My dad took us riding in all this kind of terrain.
Yeah.
So as far as the desert and sand and rock and stone and everything,
you were already part of it.
I was a part of it younger and didn't really know.
So I feel like you have the best car games ever.
We do.
You have to, right? You're stuck in San Fernando. That's got to be like 4 or 5 hours drive, right?
I think so. He said he had a halfway stopping point. They knew where they would sleep. I think sometimes, and then like a rest stop, and then get up the next morning, and then we'd be there.
So it's you and 4 other siblings? No, you guys are 4
3.
total. Oh, 3. Yeah,
it's boy, girl. I'm the second oldest.
Oh, older. So, the oldest ones are always the best ones.
Yeah, I've got my brother, then me, then another brother, then my sister. And my parents are still married, and they just celebrated 64 years.
64 years.
Yeah.
Congratulations to your parents. That's
fantastic. I was blessed. If we pick
up,
you're
only like 35. How's that? How do you... That makes sense. How does that make sense? What was it like growing up in your household? You had 2 boys and 2 girls, and I'm sure you guys all kind of had your ups and downs. How was it growing up in that?
I really feel blessed with the family. If we pick our parents before we come here, I did a good job. That's all I can say. But I can't prove that. I don't know. All I'm saying is my parents were young. They were 20 and 22, and they met, and they got married right away. Like they met. They were engaged within 3 months, married 6 months of knowing each other, and then raised 4 kids. And by the age of 25, my mom had 4 children. And I was, like I said, the oldest. And then it was a good life, because they could see they wanted us to stay together as a family. So they created weekend things like the camping, motorcycles, mini bike, doing things outdoors in nature. And then that's how I grew up, was riding bikes. 2 brothers, 1 year older, 13 months younger, and then 2 boys on the left and 3 boys on the right. That's what I grew up. And then my sister's 3 years younger.
So you're tough as nails.
I'm tough as nails. And you know what? My grandmother told me that in my mid-20s. You guys, take the wisdom words of the elders or the people that are above you when you hear it, because she said to me when I was in my 20s, really feeling uncomfortable, insecure, not knowing who I am, what I'm doing, where am I going? And she said to me one time, Laurie, you know what? You are just like the boys. And I looked at her kind of like, what do you mean? She goes, well, you always kept up with them and you were never going to let them leave you behind.
There you go.
And that gave me such a different perspective of myself.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. Growing up with your brothers and sisters and stuff, so you discovered at some point you were some type of an empath.
Yes.
Did you ever have an inclination to that in the past? Like where could you I don't know, when did you start, at what point in your lifetime did you start feeling like this was going to be something for you, or that you were connected to your spiritual self a little more? At what point?
Oh, yeah, I know. Kind of like, when did I have a moment of clarity?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. It was definitely, it was when I was 30. I was definitely 30. I was 30 years old.
Okay.
I had moved from San Francisco to Chicago. I was working in the advertising industry. So I was an account executive.
Yeah.
I was, climbing the corporate ladder, and I was doing everything that everyone said you should do, and everything would work out great. And now I wanted a new experience. Mm-hmm. And I tried to get a promotion that didn't happen in San Francisco. So that fueled maybe it's time to live somewhere different.
Yes.
And I moved to Chicago with just me, my clothes, and my resume, and a place to live at 28 years old.
Wow.
And I thought that took a lot of courage.
I think so. You're by yourself.
I was by myself.
I don't know family out there. You just kind of went on a limb, right?
Yep. Right. And I just was like, I'm working in advertising. What if I want to have an experience and live in another part of the country? Where would that be, and where would that be good for my career? And so New York, Chicago, and LA were the three new advertising cities. So LA was California, so forget that. So it was between those two. And I interviewed all these people I worked with in San Francisco, because that's where I was living. And I said, have you lived in New York? Have you lived in LA? Have you lived in Chicago? What did you like? Pros, cons. And I kind of did my own little research. Then one of my friends was from Chicago, and she said, let's take a trip. And we spent a week together. She showed me all around her city. And I came back and I gave notice and I left. And I just went to Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you started from scratch.
I started from scratch.
Oh my goodness.
And I did some temporary work that got me another ad agency job. And then I was back in account management and meeting new friends and loving being in Chicago. What a great city, I have to say.
Do you still hold that circle of friends from Chicago?
Only a couple people. Because we were all in our 20s, not married, having kids yet. And then once everyone Chicago's a really cool city to live in if anyone ever wants to experience a city, because it's kind of a melting pot in the center.
Wow.
So it takes everybody from the east and the west and the middle, and it just has a good blend. Every kind of food, every kind of ethnicity, every kind of anything, they're all neighborhoods, and you can just go and experience real Peruvian food, right? Not, or real, and you just go to the neighborhoods. It's a cool place to live, and in my 20s, it was super fun, and I highly recommend it to anyone listening.
That sounds so...
If you want an experience.
That sounds so cool. For some reason, you triggered in my head an episode from Friends, from the TV show.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm thinking, wow, that was way more interesting what you just described. Going with friends and going through different shops that all had their, own taste and flavors. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really grew up a lot there. That's where I really,
And so
28, and who am I? What do I want to do?
When and how did you come to the Valley then?
I came to the Valley in January 27th of 2020. 2020. Yes,
January, right
before the pandemic hit.
Gosh.
So 6 weeks later, everything shut down.
Yes.
So every plan I had, what I was going to do, just kind of went boom. And we moved here specifically because now my parents are living here, full time.
Okay.
So my parents always loved the desert. Driving through LA to Phoenix, they had kind of this love for it. So now we live in the San Francisco Bay Area. They moved there when I was 10. And I was raised from 10 till, high school years in what's called Novato, California. It's in the San Francisco Bay Area. But they then started coming for vacations in the winter to the desert. And then they said, we're buying a place. And then pretty soon it turned into they're retired and they spent 6 months here and 6 months in Northern California.
Splitting,
and then they hit their 80s and they said, I don't want to travel 2 places anymore, period. It was just like too much work, shutting it down, managing both. And so they went to full-time here.
Wow.
And I have to say, my parents, I thought, asked each other the most amazing question, and if people can do this in life, it would be so wonderful.
Okay.
This is what they did. They had these 2 homes. That's what do? We only want one. This is the question they asked. And then they spent a day, and then they came back together the next day and they answered it. And the question was, if you were alone, where would you rather be? Cloverdale or Palm Springs, because that's where their 2 homes were. One's in the mountains.
I was going to say one you can incline and
and the other one is in the desert and flat, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. That makes sense. It tracks.
And the next day they came back together and they both said Palm Springs without knowing the other one's answer. And the main reason was because of the people they met here, the services that are available, the things to do are ideal for anyone retired.
Yeah.
Everything from medical to bunco to bingo to what do you like, And it is constant. Where they lived, they didn't have that. They had maybe a community center.
Yeah, maybe, that's right.
And, some performing arts or whatever. But my point is that for seniors, it's not as focused.
It's not,
for great,
But the beautiful thing about that is, in the Coachella Valley, it's divided in such a way that you have, seniors, and I would call them even geriatric, city living. You have the younger, I would say like in their 20s, people in their 30s, all kind of mixing in the same area.
Yeah.
And it creates this cool generational gap that has lessons throughout for everyone.
Yeah.
And you can even go to like downtown Palm Springs on a Thursday night and find all these families walking about in the, what's it called?
The Village Fest?
The Village Fest.
Yes, I know.
Isn't that insane? And all the people that come through it, it's just so cool to see how a town can truly host all these different people and exist in a place that's the middle of the desert.
And it does feel to me like everybody does get along. It's not phony baloney.
No.
You know
why?
Why?
This is my theory. It's such a small place. I mean, it truly is. You can truly throw a rock and hit somebody without a hesitation. So people know who you are everywhere. And so here we're all so connected that you can't go too far without hearing news from someone that you know recently.
That's true.
So I think because we all know each other fairly well, we all just pause by, say hi to each other. We just treat each other like we know each other because we do.
Yeah.
If you're here for more than 2 years, you know most everyone here.
The first 2 years we didn't go out.
Right.
Pandemic, you couldn't. And then had some scares. My mom almost didn't make it. And so she's here though. So it worked out. But they canceled her surgery in March. She was supposed to have congestion.
Oh, on the 15th of March.
Heart surgery and put stents in. And it got postponed. And in July, she ended up in emergency. And then we just pushed it to happen sooner. And
well, it's good to know that she's still with you. Well, it's fantastic to know that you're still with your, not with your parents, but like, with them in the sense that you see where they're at, you stay within range. That's always something very important.
Well, that's why you said what brought me to the desert.
Yes.
My parents brought us to the desert because they had back-to-back emergency visits in the hospital. My sister and her wife have a home in Rancho Mirage. But they travel a lot and weren't always here. And we said, it would be better if we had a couple of us out of 4. And then my brothers kick in all the time as well with coming and spending weekends with them or driving them long places. Yeah. So we're all kind of as a family pitching in, and not because they need so much help yet. Because they're 86 and 84 and
Wow, that's awesome.
to get around.
That's fantastic.
My dad just stopped playing tennis this year at 86. And the only reason he quit is because he had macular degeneration.
I think you're going to say because his partner wasn't hitting the right.
No, because he can't see it. Yeah, exactly. He can't see the ball until it's really close. And so it was...
Yeah, you're at the point where it could
it makes it not fun for other people if you're not hitting it back. But then not only that, who wants the broken hip?
Of course.
And so he's like, I don't want that. Your mom, I'm the caretaker now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's good to hear that you, as a family, you're all pitching. And you want to hear something really crazy that I just thought about now?
Right.
If you can go back to all of our episodes, and anybody listening, please try to do this. Out of all those episodes, 98% of people I interview say that they've come to the desert because of their parents. I just thought,
really?
Almost every person says, "Oh, when my parents brought me."
Yeah.
Almost every single person, except for like 2 or 3 of them, maybe 2 or 3 of them.
Right.
They've all been the same. Oh, my parents brought me. It's just crazy how that works.
Yeah.
On that note, let's cut to a quick commercial when we come back. Let's talk about what's going on today. You have so much to talk about. I can't wait to share it. All right, here we go. Let me tell you about events with the new mindset. We always have the best, and you can't say the best without King Events. Jerry at King Events has always been there for me for every single need that I have. Man, this guy's amazing. But let me have somebody share their story. You can hear it for yourself.
The first time I booked with King Events, I was working at a local jewelry store. We had a mechanical bull on a very busy date, and Jerry was able to accommodate to our needs. The entertainment was great. Working with his team was super easy, and he was there to answer every question we had. I can't recommend him enough. Not only is King Events my go-to for family or business parties, they are also local and family-owned. Call them today at 1-760-238-1692. Again, that's 760-238-1692.
Don't forget to call today, and now let's get back to the show.
And we're back. So, Laurie, tell us about what you're doing, today. What is Laurie's thing happening today?
Well, thank you for asking. And actually, I just rebranded my business. And by the way, I don't think I said what I call my business name. It's called Inner Guided Life. So it's innerguidedlife.com. And why? Because I help people get their own answers inside, not just what spins around in your head, which is about 10% of your knowledge. Just like an iceberg, you see that part on the top, there's like 90% under the water.
Yeah.
That's a lot of our wisdom that comes from your DNA, that comes from past lives, whether you believe it or not, because there's no proof. You can't say whether you did or not, but sometimes people have memories of being here before or having, and so those are the kind of things that, interest me, that like totally got me into like, ooh, there's more than just what I think I've learned. Okay, so we grow up and, whether you go to church or not, everybody pretty much goes to school, right? Some go to college, others start working, but we learn how to follow rules and figure out how to be human, right? And part of my work is helping people to unlearn a lot of things that were taught to them, not because they're wrong or bad or don't work, but because they actually aren't true and authentic to their own belief system and who they are. But you pick them up and you just take them on, right? So think about that, like from when you're little on. Yeah, sometimes our parents said great things that we took on. And then sometimes they said things that made us feel bad about ourselves. And I'm not saying that they had the intention of that, but they make comments, criticisms, things when you're growing up. And then here we are, an adult, still thinking I'm X, Y, or Z, fill in the blank, that you're someone adult-like said to you. So those are the kind of things where, as an adult, we don't realize it's still affecting us. Yeah. Because it's on what I call the unconscious or subconscious level. So like that iceberg that's underneath.
Correct. It's the things you don't see.
Yeah, it's the things that you don't see. And that's what everybody wants to bring up and clear. Who wants gunk? Think about it. Gunk in your engine, you want to clear it out. It's the same with a body. We have an energy body first. Then we have our physical bodies. Okay, so the physical body one day won't be here, right? We
Correct.
know, everyone knows our form goes.
Correct.
Something lives on. Why not tap into that part of you? Find out how, if you don't remember, because that's what I do, is I teach people how to shine their brightest light by finding, their own inner power. I know when I know, like, it's just one of my favorite sayings is make your decision when you have a choiceless choice.
Ooh, that's a good quote. A choiceless. I love that.
Yeah. And what does that mean? It's an absolute yes or an absolute no.
Correct.
You don't have any wobble in your head, no ping pong.
Yeah.
Maybe this, maybe that, maybe this, maybe that. There's just this. And so that deep knowing everybody has. You can call it your intuition. You can call it your gut level knowingness. There's so many terms for it. It's the part of self that is quiet.
Yeah.
And so unless you care enough about yourself, love yourself enough to say, hey, God thought I was a good idea. I was made manifest. How do I give a gift back? By loving my life, by appreciating the gift. I'm alive today. Not only did we survive the COVID, we thrived.
Yeah.
I took that as time out, as time in. And I have so many programs. I have things that's coming out that's going to be so exciting.
That's exciting.
And it was all like channeled. It's not me. And, because part of me says, this is a lot of work and I kind of want to get back right now. And then it's like, oh no, but it's not. Because when you love what you do, it's play work.
It comes so easily. There's a type of mental de-stress, as I think of it, when you're doing something you actually love. As stressful as everything can be around it, if you're doing what you love, it always seems to be easier.
Yes.
It seems to calm you down almost. It seems to just exist for your pleasure if you must. And it's really nice to be able to do the things you love to do.
Yeah.
I will ask you something, because I think you, in what you did, when you were explaining everything that you were just saying, I just thought, oh, you're explaining that famous quote, do or do not, there is no try. Because it sounds almost as though it does. It's really, when you're explaining, like, hey, there has to be no wobble, no hesitation. Oh, you're explaining what that sentence means. That's fantastic. With that, I'm going to cut the commercial. When we come back, that was deep. That was a fantastic answer. Did you know that up to 80% of adults have stretch marks or scars? The new mindset for the Coachella Valley brings you JD Aesthetics, where they delve into the world of skin camouflage, stretch mark removal, and scar revision. Licensed paramedical tattoo specialist Joanna Davila Rios has a simple mission in mind: to help everyone embrace their natural beauty.
Enter New Conceal, a revolutionary skin tone correction treatment using tattoo technology. Joanna is certified to perform this incredible procedure, utilizing new skin tone reduction device and application to achieve precise color matching for seamless results. Join us as we explore the artsy and science behind the New Conceal technology. This beautiful coverage empowers individuals to love their skin that they're in.
Joanna brings personalized care and professionalism expertise to her clients.
Thank you so much, and we hope to see you soon.
And for more information, don't forget to visit jdaestheticsllc.com. And now let's get back to the show. And we're back. Laurie, this has been a fantastic conversation. Let's talk about the future. Looking to the future, I'm assuming that you're starting on this new road that I'd love for you to talk about.
Okay.
But you probably wrote down affirmations already. And so, what is something you're looking forward in the next, 6 months, a year, 2 years?
I am looking forward to launching some programs that I have. They're not on my website yet.
Okay.
But one in particular, and I'm gonna promote it on my Facebook and Instagram social media, and it's gonna come as a questionnaire, and it was written about in 2021. During all of that, let's go inward.
The hoopla, yeah.
Here's what the question is, or here's the title of the program that's going to come. It's called "A Man Is Not a Plan."
I love that.
There are 12 questions to answer, yes or no.
Okay.
And if you have 3 or more yeses, you probably want to be in this workshop. Okay. And the reason is the man is not meaning man in gender.
Oh, I understood that. Yeah.
It's
Like
human.
In general,
we
yes,
put
yes.
our power in other humans. We give our power away. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
We give our power away all the time to other people, places, and things. Okay. And that is what usually makes us so uncomfortable. We don't realize we're doing it. And unless someone asks you questions or gets you to see your part in it, you'll keep thinking he's doing that. It's my boss. It's my boyfriend. It's my this. It's always someone outside. And so what we do over and over and over, people do this, and I've witnessed it. I've seen it. I did it myself. I still randomly do it because I go in unconscious mode and you just do stuff, right? And it is just going against what feels right naturally. You just do it because everybody else is. You just go with the flow. Oh, now I got to get my next job. And and it's just the next one forward, the next foot forward. Most of your life goes by in your head and you're just always thinking of the next thing. And then people lose their sense of self, you know? So my biggest message is to learn how to be centered in self, but not self-centered.
Wow.
It's two different things, okay?
You are just dropping pearls of wisdom left and right. And this conversation is fantastic. Let's get the commercial. When we come back, let's give them some tips. What could they do to get into this path or into this type of career or do their business like this?
This week's episode of The New Mindset is brought to you by Jeff Mo. Here to tell us more about it is Ozzy, one of the owners. Take it away, bro.
Jeff Mo CBD is a brand based in Southern California. Are you dealing with pain, anxiety, inflammation, stress, and more? Make sure to check us out at jeffmocbd.com. Each batch of our product is lab tested for potency and pesticide. Certificates of analysis can be viewed by going to jeffmocbd.com. So don't panic, it's organic.
Right, and we're back. So I'll ask you, Laurie, this question. You've been giving us so much wisdom just in this simple conversation that we've been having. If somebody's listening today and they want to maybe they think they're an empath, they just don't know how to pursue it. Is there like a book you could recommend, or maybe a way to reach out to you and ask questions and find out if that's something that they should pursue? Or what would you recommend for somebody like that?
Yeah. Well, gosh, where do you begin? YouTube would be my first for anything, okay? Because, and the only reason I say that is because A, it's free, B, you start following people, you just have to put in the word that you want, right?
Yeah.
So like, for instance, during COVID, when I started to get extremely stressed and feeling the anxiety of the world, right? Oh my gosh, are we gonna fall apart? Is the world gonna, it was kind of scary.
Yeah.
I used my breathing techniques that I had, and then I perfected them by going on YouTube and following people who showed me how to breathe, deeper, how to, And so one of the people that I followed, believe it or not, is Amanda Ellis from Angelic Celestial Colors, and she's in the UK. And somehow, during that time period of COVID, because they were 8 hours ahead, I would wake up in a panic in the morning and I would grab that YouTube and put it in my ears and just listen to her and calm down hearing what was going on. So that would be my first. There's also solfeggio music, and there's all different kind of hertz frequency musics. And if you just put that in, HERTZ frequencies, there's different frequencies that talk to all 7 chakras, in the system. Okay. So if you know your heart is hurting, the heart chakra is 432 hertz, and you go put on 432 hertz music. And mind you, the masters that do classic music and all of that knew this about how the human being energetically hears the music. Okay, so what would I advise everyone to do? I tell you right now, the most important thing is learn how to just come back to your center through breath, okay? By closing your eyes and imagining going to your heart center. The heart is at your real core, because if you stuff your hands straight up in the air when you're standing, it really is in the center. That's where we're supposed to kind of blend our physical self and our spiritual self, right? Like it's the heart, it's the core. So tap into that part of yourself and start asking your own being, hey heart, I don't usually talk to you. You have consciousness, because you pump air all day long into, pump and without me telling you to do it.
Right.
Okay, so learn your body's messaging system. That's what I'm saying here.
I love that.
And I can help you do that, or find it for free.
I love this. Well, Laurie,
Anyway.
let me just say this has been a fantastic conversation.
Good.
And I know we could go for hours. However, this is definitely, we need to have a part 2 or 3 of this episode.
I'd love to.
We have to sit down and just keep chatting.
Yeah.
And for now, we're gonna, as we say goodbye to this is a hard one to say goodbye to. I'm really loving this conversation. However, we will come back to you, give you part 2 on this episode, continue the knowledge that you have, and a lot of success to you in your future. It sounds very promising, and you definitely know what you're talking about. It speaks to masses, believe it or not. We really, really thank you. Can I ask you, what's the best way to reach you or get a hold of you if anybody that's listening wants to do that?
Yeah, it's best to just go to my website, which is www.innerguidedlife, INNERGUIDEDLIFE.com.
Okay.
And there you can get everything from contacting me and so forth. Good. And if you would like, I would love to offer a special offer, and I will provide a link to you, and you can promote it later.
Oh, fantastic.
And that's going to be half price for anyone who wants a 1 hour private with me.
That's really good. So there you have it, folks. We're going to be putting this on all our social media. We'll create an event for it so we can push and promote it. And obviously, we love to help you continue to grow in any way that we can. And social media is our strength. So is the airwaves. So we're happy to be able to. Thank you so much for that offer. We appreciate it. I'm sure our listeners will appreciate it.
Thank you.
And you have social media handles as well, right?
Yes, I do.
What are your social media handles?
And it's Laurie Halverson.
Okay.
Like Laurie Halverson for Facebook. And then it's Laurie Joy Halverson for Instagram.
And can you spell your last name for us so we can have it right?
Yeah, sorry. And my first name is Laurie, because Laurie is spelled several ways, right?
Yes.
And then the last name is Halverson, HAL. V as in Victor, ER, S as in Sam, ON, Halverson.
There you go, guys. So you can't mess that up.
Yeah, you can
That's how you're
find
going to
me.
find it now. And we do hope for all the best success, and we'll continue to grow this relationship between us. And thank you so much for being on our program today. We want to thank you. We want to thank our sponsors as well. We have been working very hard to push something I'm going to talk to you about. So we recently found a profile called All Seated in a Barn. Now, this amazing person, she saves horses from being sold when they shouldn't be. And I don't know how to explain it any other way better than that. Mm-hmm. She does rehabilitation. She helps them with medicine. But more often than not, she does this through the support of other people. We've been, through our radio listeners and from social media, I'm trying to help people get to know the page at the very least. So we'll attach them to it. All Seated in a Barn is a fantastic account. Follow it on Instagram. They have all the story. There is some graphic nature to some of it, as you know. The Instagram algorithm will know what to show you, not to show you. But it is a hard pill to swallow. The situation with the horses is very all over the place. So when you get a chance, please check it out. And we'd love to continue to support All Seated in a Barn. That being said, thank you guys for another great episode. Thank you, Laurie, for being with us. And for everyone listening, have a great day or a good night.
Thank you. Yay!